Hello, everybody. It's Mike Kilgore coming to you from the Trident Edge podcast. You can find the Trident Edge podcast on all of your podcast players. Just type in the Trident Edge podcast. But I am recording this in video because we definitely want to see, Keith's beautiful face. But today we're being joined by Keith, and it is not Coyote. It is not a boat, but it is actually Keith's last name is, and it's not Ayotte, which I called him for years. Right, 15 years. I've probably called
Yeah.
him Keith Ayotte. Right, everybody goes, "Oh, Keith Ayotte, Keith Ayotte." It's actually pronounced not a boat, but a yacht, right? So you'll never forget that. And you'll say that I'm picturing Keith out on the water on a big, what, 50-foot yacht. That sounds good. So Keith Ayotte
Yeah.
is with us today up in Massachusetts, one of our sales reps that covers the area up there, new to the Trident family, taking over the area, doing exceptionally well, hitting all of his target points. All of his tracking is moving in the right direction, and we're so happy to have you. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, as some of you all may notice, if you're watching on the video, I am obviously getting older. Some of you have been watching my videos for years and years now because now I have readers. They are progressive and they are 1.75. So I'm at the beginning of my eye journey here of being able to read, but they are all over my house. So for me to be able to read some of the notes and the scripts, I have to have some readers on, and I'm sure a few of you guys and girls up there can relate to that. So I want to just start right into this and learn a little bit more about you, Keith, and more importantly, let some of these guys and girls that are in the Trident family, and maybe even those that are not in the Trident family, learn a little bit more about you. So, Keith, tell us how you got going in this whole kind of thing here. And, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got into
Yep.
the industry, and stuff like that.
Yep. So growing up, I worked for my father. That was a mason, did mostly brick, stone, stuff, and over the years of working for him, noticed that, this stuff is beautiful work, but it decays because of the frost and freezes that we have up here.
Yeah.
And nobody was really doing anything about it. Nobody was educating the customer or, saying, hey, we should seal this. Just a few years after, you see, brick faces popped off or whatever. So, I decided, we're going to start cleaning these things, at least get the green growth off of this stuff. And then got introduced to sealing and studied about it and learned about it and started offering it. And here we are 20 years later.
Yeah.
So, pretty much done it for over 20 years now.
Well, and I think that's important, right?
Yep.
That you have the experience, but not only in the ups and downs of what to do and what not to do with the actual product itself. But
Yep.
one of the things that intrigued me the most, of being able to have you be part of our team, and we're very happy that you're part of our team, is that you not only have the experience of working with it, because there's a lot of employees that are out
Yeah.
there, but you're a business owner,
Yeah.
and and it's not always, rainbows and skittles out there, right? It's feast and
Absolutely. Yeah.
famine, right? There's multiple times that sometimes we're ups and sometimes we're down. Sometimes we've got perfect weather, sometimes we got 9.5 inches of snow sitting on the ground.
Exactly.
And just looking to, there's times at the beginning when you're trying to figure out, I'm living great and, going out to dinner and celebrating the times with your wife and your kids and doing those kinds of things. And then there's times when you're wondering where the next paycheck's going to come from.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
a
trying to
hard
get you all
industry.
teary-eyed, but I'm just calling the ace an ace, right? I've been there, done it.
Yeah,
I came from the same world.
100%. Yep. Wondering if you were going to have a roof over your head next year, or if you were even going to be able to open your doors, you know?
I worry about it
There's,
all the time now.
yep,
I mean,
there's a lot to it.
so, tell us something about you that, just maybe people don't know. But again, we kind of talked about it a little bit, helps you connect with the contractors. I think we just touched on it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, like Mike said, I've owned a business. I've been an employee of of a business doing this. So from scraping gum off of sidewalks to troubleshooting, broken equipment, dealing with callbacks of customers, having a job on the line and you got weather delays, crew management problems, all of this stuff is not, just a theory. I've walked it. I've been there. So it helps me connect with the contractor because we've had the same issues. We've had the same problems. And maybe they're doing something that I did wrong. And I know the correction for it and I can help them correct it. It's definitely a difficult industry. And I've learned to think outside the box in this industry. So, I think that helps me a lot with connecting and building a bond with the contractors.
Well, and I think, yeah, looking back over the last 6 years, almost 7 years. I mean,
Hmm.
we've been the Trident's been was at its infancy. Actually, in October was when I got hired. I got hired in October, and then had to attend my first regional sales group, and it was in Atlanta. And it was I was just looking at it, and it was almost 7 years ago here, middle of October, is when I decided to let go of 3i Supply, Easy Nano Seal, and Ninja Power Soft Wash. And I that was such a valuable time in my life of building up my resume, right? Of
Hmm.
understanding. I would have never thought. I thought I was going to play pro football. I really did. I thought I was going to be a professional punter. You know, um, I had the skills. I just didn't have the dedication. And one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life was failing at that piece of my life.
Yep.
So, I can still remember walking off that campus the last day going, I did not succeed at this, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm just being real. You know, I, I went to Virginia Tech. I played football there, got a full ride scholarship to go there, and I squandered it. Straight up real talk. You know, I,
Yep.
I finally had to get real with myself yeah, I went to a really great school. Go Hokies. Still love all the people that I met and have great relationships with them. But I squandered that opportunity. Failed at it. I could have, spent more time in the gym, could have spent more time focusing on my craft. And I think I did have the skill. I truly believe I had the skill when I look at it to be able to play in the big league, but I squandered that. I partied like crazy. I was good at that, right? I got that down. I got an A+ in that class. But I'm not going to sit up here and pound my chest that my world has been great. I'm not going to get up here and lecture everybody on how to run their lives without telling you that this stuff didn't come without a lot of sacrifice and a lot of heartache
100%.
and a lot of failures. A lot. As a matter of fact, there was more failures than there's been success. But
Yep.
I did get a chance to to speak to Coach Beamer, which was my coach, and I told him, I said, Coach, I wish I could have done things differently, but I'm glad. I wish I could have done things differently, but I'm glad I didn't, because now when I wake up in the morning and think, well, I'm going to sleep in till noon, or I'm going to just eat some breakfast and wait till later. No, your opportunity's now. So, that's what drives me in the back end. So, what drives you, Keith? What keeps you motivated? What keeps you getting up in the morning and getting
Well,
things going?
it used to be just the transformation, in what I did, seeing the customers' reactions, their face, their comments, um, it brought a lot of joy to me to know that, I was making somebody happy and, building a great word of mouth reputation. And then it, my, as we get older, things shift a little bit, and
Yeah, it went from my shoulders and muscle to my
to,
to
to
my
your belly.
ab section and fat. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Stuff definitely shifted, right?
Yeah. The older we got, or I got, I said, I want to continue doing this, but I don't want to, you know, keep this journey going by myself. I want to, help mentor or, help somebody. Because like you said, I had a lot of failures throughout my journey, and I've learned a lot, and I think it made me grow to who I am today. And now I'm just really passionate about if I can just help somebody learn from my mistakes and, show them, the right tools in that toolbox to create a good, healthy company. That's what motivates me. And, I've been loving it, since then. So,
I tell the story of, and I've said this multiple times, on different venues, and even I try to tell the story when I do a training. I'm heading out to Phoenix tomorrow morning, coming back on Sunday. Then going to be going out to Dallas with Brad Beard. Going out with John Tobit out in Arizona, and out with Brad into Dallas, Brad Beard. And I'm hoping that I might have the opportunity to come up. And we'll talk about your big training kind of at the end, even though this is kind of an archive, and it's going to be around for a long period of time. But I try to mention one of my core beliefs. I see all these before and after pictures,
mhm.
right? And all these before and after pictures are great. I love seeing success. Don't get me wrong, right? But let me speak real. I could really care less about the before and after pictures. And it's odd for someone to say that, because you want to have them put the before and after pictures so that other contractors can look at it. Don't stop doing that, right? I'm not telling you not to do that, because it's great for other contractors to see your work and do those kinds of things. But that doesn't really excite me. What really excites me is when we're friends on Facebook and I see you going on your first vacation. I see you
Okay.
buying your first car. I see you
Yep.
buying your first house. I see you spending time with your family doing, vacations. Go just sitting down with dinner with your wife or your husband or whoever, right? We're not going down that road. But living your life. And even though I don't expect someone to sit there and say, "Oh, Keith and Mike, thank you for allowing us to be able to." I've had two people in this 7-year journey reach out to me and say, thank you for what Trident has done, because of what Trident has done for us in our lives and given us a confidence in our product and to our customers and being reliable. I'm now able to go on my 7-day cruise with my wife and not have to worry about whether or not we can afford it or not.
Yep.
I will never forget when I got that text message, because that is why we get into this. This is why w- we do this and get into being our own boss. A lot of people forget about that's the reason why. More worried about fighting with other contractors, fighting with other reps, fighting with other manufacturers. All that shit doesn't matter.
Yep.
What matters is, are you putting the food on your table? Are you spending time with your family? Because we only got one trip around this sun. And when it's
100%.
all said and done, in 2 generations, ain't no one going to give a crap who you are. You're going to be nothing but a headstone. I just got back from Indianapolis, and I can show you one of the biggest cemeteries of people that are forgotten.
Yep.
So why are we arguing? Why are we
Yeah.
edging against other people? So, what do you enjoy doing outside of Trident? Like, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
Clear
I,
your head.
I, I like, I like camping, river touring, stuff like that. And my kids are mostly grown and moved out. I've got one left
Hmm.
that's still at home.
Yeah.
But doing things with him, teaching, not so much teaching him the industry, but teaching him your value. Like if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you're,
Right.
going to, put your heart and soul into something, do it to the fullest ability. And as a 15-year-old, I'm pretty proud of him. He does really well. But
Yeah.
just basically just, caring for the family and doing the small things in life. I'm not a big, oh, I want to go to Paris or France or something like that. Um, camping, hunting, fishing.
Yeah. I
you
get
know,
it.
the simple things in life are
What
what
is it? Hunting, camping, fishing. What is it? Living every day. Who is that? Luke Bryan? Is
Ryan.
that who sings
Yeah,
that song? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, but
It's the
yeah,
simple life.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I
I want to keep it simple.
keep it simple, right? So, what does what is a typical day? I know that's the funniest part of this whole question is the word typical, right?
Yeah.
What does a typical day look like for you?
Well, it's the same as owning a power washing company. Even though that now my my life is simplified a little bit better, I
Hmm.
still wear a lot of hats. I could be 1 minute, supporting a contractor in the field, providing hands-on training, and then in 5 minutes I could be helping a dealership or a distributor understanding a product line or a product for a customer. Um, you know, Troubleshooting application issues, helping crews plan, small or large scale jobs. My goal as a Trident rep is to be a resource for these people. And look, I may not have all the answers, but the great thing about Trident is we have such a strong team that even if I'm lacking something, I can tell that contractor, listen, give me 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is. I will get the answer for you. And we have the answer somewhere within our network. And I can't tell you what owning a power washing job a company, we didn't
Yeah.
always have the answers. We had to figure it out on our own. And it could take days, weeks, whatever. With Trident, it's a very short period of time and we can figure it out together as a
I mean,
team.
we've got a text thread with all the reps,
Yeah.
myself involved in it. Then we have a couple of other threads and stuff. And every day there's pictures being dropped in there from contractors so that we've got 7 people looking at this. It's kind of like a think tank
Yeah.
to solve this problem. If there might be something that somebody looks at in that picture. Now, one of my strategies is when I see a picture, don't focus on the problem, focus on the periphery.
Right.
because 90% of problems are because of environmental situations. What is not being told in the picture? And that doesn't come with just saying, oh, strip it, reseal it, you're good to go, right? That comes with a lot of experience. And more importantly, it comes with a lot of failure, right? I
Oh
have
yeah.
boogered up some jobs, boogered up a lot of jobs, but that also allows us to be able to look at this as a team and come up. And there might be something that Tammy might see. There might be something that Brad sees. There might be something that Danielle sees. There might be something, that Marlo sees that just joined into the team, right? That Keith didn't see. We don't all have the answers, but we sure are a lot stronger when we all come together. That's for sure.
As they say, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and
That's right.
we have a really strong chain.
I just I just watched the I've been watching the series Guinness on Netflix. Kind of a fun, the history of Guinness, but it's not a history, it's more of a dramatization. And a guy walks out with a big ass chain and he's like, "We're only as strong as our weakest link." Of course he said it in an Irish accent, and a farm boy from Southeast Missouri does not do a good Irish accent. So I'm just gonna let it sounds more like a drunken Bostonian is what it sounds like. So I'm not gonna actually it sounds more Gaelic than anything else, like I'm speaking cursive.
Yeah,
Um, but you know, the supporting scenario of what people don't see in the background of Trident and all the resources that we've built along the way. What excites you the most about working with Trident?
man, that's a hard question. There's so much. I guess what excites me, is the general care and quality that we want for the contractor's success. Um, People don't see the phone calls at the end of the night with Mike or, some of the other reps saying, look at what can we do to be better? And I'm thinking to myself, what else? There's so much that, we offer, but we tailor solutions based on real world experience. And as someone who's used the products in the field, I know that they work, and I also, love the fact that I get to help other contractors grow their businesses, instead of just being, you know, all about numbers, 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 numbers. Don't get me wrong. We want numbers, but we look at it and Trident looks at it as a different thing, and it's helping that company. So, you know, I love the fact that Trident cares about the contractors and will go out of their way to help the contractors. So you know,
What do
that's
you
what I
say about the people that they love to say that you drank the Kool-Aid? You drank the juice.
so,
What's your
you
response?
know,
What's your response? Because a lot of people are going to look at that response and go, "Good Lord, here's a guy that's now getting paid by Trident, and you know, he's
listen,
he failed at his distribution. He failed at this, and Trident came in and paid them,
yeah,
and now
no,
he's just trying to be nice." Let me tell you something. Keith will tell me to straight up F off if I say something weird off to him, right? And
yeah,
I expect him to
yeah,
do that.
yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, when I started, again, our failures, going back to our failures. Back when I first started, I used so many sealers, and I really, I had failures. I had some successes with it, and it wasn't till the day that a very special person in my life said, "Look, you're going to drive 2 hours away, and you're going to come to a training." Wasn't even Trident. It
Mm-mm.
was SEK.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to their training, and you know loved what I saw. But again, seeing in this industry isn't always believing. In my aspect is I want to see the longevity, the how it sits, how it lasts, how it protects, you know. So after a couple of years of using it and having great training from the reps on that side, um, we switched everything. Every single thing that we did, we switched 100% over to SEK. And have we had some failures? Absolutely. But you know what I learned from that? It was my fault. I wasn't doing something right. I don't think I can honestly blame in 20 years any sealer failures due to the sealer. It
Hmm.
was 100% me or my workers that caused or the surface. Something was in it that we just didn't know. And, um, so no, I didn't drink the Kool-Aid. I've lived and breathed and used this stuff on multi-million dollar surfaces to, your
Hmm.
normal little backyard patio. So there's no Kool-Aid here to drink.
Actually, I respectively disagree in one thing,
What's
right?
that?
I chug the Kool-Aid
Yeah,
every day because I believe in it and truly believe it, and it's backed up, right? It'd be different if somebody said, you know what, this is just watercolor in in water, and you drank it and you went, ugh, didn't taste too good. Doesn't make sense. Oh, I'm supposed to like this? No, I don't like this. But when I drink this Kool-Aid and I drink this juice and then I look at it and it works and it makes people successful, I'm going to put it into a beer bong and drink 6 pack of it every freaking day.
right. But but with
I
you
know what you're
saying that,
saying. I'm
I
having some
think I
fun.
may have looked at the Kool-Aid as the way you said it. Is
We
it
looked at it
like
in two different parallels, but you're
right?
right.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
on your perspective, oh yeah, I would be
Sure.
more than I'd be swimming in it.
Yeah.
not just drinking it. But yeah.
There was a movie back in the day, and it was a cult phenomenon movie called Strange Brew. Do you remember
Oh,
that?
I do.
And the
Yep.
guy got caught into the beer tank,
Yeah.
right? And and he had to put out the fire at the end,
Being on
and he ended
it.
up drinking like 900,000 gallons of beer.
Yeah.
And of course, you got this little head with this big old huge body.
Yeah.
That's me. That's a
Yeah.
Trident vat of Kool-Aid,
Right.
of the juice, my little head, and people will say, "You drank the Kool-Aid, right?" But let's be honest with you. Kool-Aid is a cute way, or the juice is a cute way for other people to justify why they don't get it, right? Oh, you're just drinking the Kool-Aid. You're just drinking the juice, right? You're
Right.
just buying into the propaganda.
Right.
I don't care if you buy into it or not. I really
Yep.
don't. If you don't want to buy into the Kool-Aid and you don't want to buy into the juice and you don't want to get involved with it, if you don't want to be with a company that provides top-notch education, training, support, online training that you can do at any time, which there's not a single other manufacturer that is doing that, right? To the extent that we're doing that. I don't see any other free education that's out there for people. Track all of their progress, create relationships based on what they do in education, keep track of all that kind of stuff. Do you know
Right.
why we do that? We don't do it just simply because we want people to become master certified. We do it so that we can determine who do we need to spend our time with. I only have so much
Yep.
time in a day. If I got some guy that's going to call me up all day long and complain about the sealers, but they can't even complete intro to sealing,
Yep.
what? But I got somebody else that calls me up and they're having all kinds of problems and they become a master certified contractor. And don't get it twisted. Master certification doesn't mean that you do exceptional work. The master certification program is to prove to Trident that you're worthy of us spending our resources to come and help you. If a master certified contractor calls me up and says, I'm having a problem, or a master certified contractor calls up Keith and says, I'm having an issue and I'm having a problem, Keith has full ability to just go. We'll pay
Yes.
for the mileage. We'll pay for his salary. We'll pay for his per diem. We'll pay for everything, the resources to help with that. Because you are a contractor that has gone through the path of success and proven to us that you want to be with us. Now, I can't make you stay. This is not a cult. It's not
Right.
Scientology, and it's not, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that, but it's not a cult.
No.
It's people that are like-minded that have made a decision and they can leave at any time,
Yep. Well, it's just like the contractor's theory. Not everybody's our customer.
right? So
You know.
why can't we adopt that same scenario? I mean, we live our lives and we live Trident just like we would want our contractors to run their business. I mean, if you go down into a neighborhood and you're walking the streets and someone says, I want you to do ceiling for 35 cents because there's somebody else into it, what's the first thing you say to yourself? Well, first you try to justify it. Oh, well, when it messes up, I'm going to charge you twice as much to be able to do it. Guess what? One and maybe 100 of them are going to call you, or even just going to call you. They're just going to sit
Right.
back and go, I made a mistake and ceiling sucks and I never want to do it again. Right.
Yep.
But they're not your customer. And that's okay.
Right.
That's fine. And it may sound like we're sitting up on top of a pedestal. No, we're not sitting on a pedestal. We just know that the customers that we want are the ones that we're going to pour stuff into, right? Every
Yep.
time we do a one-on-one, it costs us close to around anywhere from $500 to $600 in resources. It's been
Yep.
tracked down. So if you're a customer that has gone through the intro to ceiling and you're looking to be to get some help, and you've done the intro to ceiling and you want a one-on-one, and we'll talk about this here in just a little bit, but you know we have to decide, is $500 or $600 the investment that we need to make to help that person out? 9 times out of 10, yes.
Yep.
Which what do you want? You want a rewards program that gives you koozies and coolers, or do you want a contractor that when you get into the shit can help you out?
Right.
That's
Yep.
true value,
100%. I wish we had it when I started this back 20 years ago.
right? I mean, I
Yeah.
can get the cheapest insurance in the entire world on my car, but when I finally have a car wreck, I'm glad that I'm with Progressive because it's happened to me. We've totaled in our family 2 cars. I got
Yep.
teenagers that are heavy footed. And within a couple of days, I had a check. You think I would have gotten that with one of these other, I can
Right.
save you 15% on whatever it is, or a lizard, or the general, or whatever it is, right? It'd be months. I've talked to people that have been in car wrecks and they're waiting months and months and months and even years before they get a payout. I had another car within 2 weeks. I pay them every month,
Yeah.
but it's my insurance policy. It's a little bit more expensive, cost me a little bit more, but it's my insurance policy. So, you know, I know I got a little possessed there for a little bit. It happens. My head spins, pea soup comes out.
We're all used
But
to it.
what's that? What was
I
that?
said we're used to
We're used to it,
it. We're
right?
used to it.
Yeah. So, and this it starts to get into kind of living on the edge, right? But this is the Edge
Mhm.
podcast. That's what it's about.
Right?
What sets Trident apart from other sealer or hardscape companies? What sets us apart? What have you seen in the short amount of time that you're with us that separates us And that's why that whole rant was a huge intro into this. What do you see
Yeah.
as the difference?
So I'm gonna say this. I've seen a difference before I even worked with you guys. Came to work for you.
Right.
I can tell you hands down that contractors can go anywhere they want and they will never get the quality, the education, the support, and the team that is so vast from anywhere else. And that's it's such a security blanket because if I'm a new contractor getting into this, if I'm dealing with a company that doesn't have any structure to just selling a sealer and something goes wrong in New York, for instance, it's a 4 hour drive for me. With Trident, like you had said before, I have the ability to say, look, I'll be there tomorrow. Drive down there, do whatever, and help them. Even starting out, the education with the online training gives them a great basic understanding of what they're getting into. And
Mhm.
then just the overall quality of the products. It just, it's definitely different than everything else that's on the market,
Right.
hands down.
So would you say let's address something?
Sure.
I want to address something on this podcast here. All the people that are, you know, hearing other manufacturers talking about, oh, Trident makes this, or we make this for them, or we do this and we do that, right? Let's just say in a hypothetical world, in a weird world, that that Trident doesn't make any of the sealers, even though we invented joint stabilization 30 years ago with SB 1300, which is now Cyclone, right? 200,000 square foot warehouse, manufacturing warehouse in Aurora, 10,000 square foot distribution warehouse down in Tampa, and other plans for different expansions coming up soon. Can't go into that, but here we are. Is it about the product itself? I mean, if the product works and it's good, but you have no support and you have no education and you don't have a team that's there for you and you don't have the resources to educate yourself, what does
Yeah.
it matter? What does it matter? You know, our focus is, so when a contractor goes out and says, I'm going to pressure wash your driveway, the homeowner says, I can go right down the road and pick myself a pressure washer right down the road. I can go to Home Depot. I can get me a surface cleaner. I can go get me a, you know, a 3,000, 3,500 PSI, 4 gallon a minute machine. I can hook it up to my wall. Why is it that I should hire you to pressure wash my driveway? Well, there are things that we know that you don't know about pressure washing, soft washing, roof washing, window washing. Sure, you can go do it. It's not that hard. Hell, I could I could literally take a hose and go to Home Depot and get a fertilizer container, the little container that's down here that you can dial 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounces, 4 ounces, and it's got spray version, and you just twist the knob on the top of it. Put it on the end of a hose and put some bleach inside of it and a little bit of soap, and I'm doing the exact same thing that majority of people are doing pressure washing and soft washing with a 100-gallon tank. Now, I might have to fill that container up 45 times, but I could do it with a hose and then I can soft wash. Give me a little rinse tip on the end of it with a little trigger on of it and rinse stuff down. I can put the chemical on it, and all of a sudden it's not green anymore. It's clean, but I don't know anything about plant protection. I don't know anything about putting it on when it's 150 degrees outside and the windows are going to get caked over with SH. I don't know to do the chemicals from the bottom up and rinse from the top down. But I know that as a homeowner, I could soft wash just as easily as anybody else with a garden hose that I already own, a $20 chemical piece. I don't need an injector. I don't need a proportioner. I don't need all that stuff. That stuff is available
Mhm.
so that I can do my job easier, right?
Yep.
But when these when contractors are paying for a product, what they're looking for, what they should be looking for is the training and the support
Right.
and the education. Now, there's always going to be somebody that's going to write in the comments, Trident rep sucks. They don't call me back. They don't have this and they don't have that, right? And they're not doing this and they're not doing that. They're not giving us a bunch of hats and they're not giving us a bunch of shirts and they're not giving us a bunch of all this other kind of stuff. We are not a company. We are not a tchotchke style of company. We invest our money in support. Which would you rather have? Like I said earlier, a contractor that gives you a hat, gives you a shirt, which we don't give shirts, but I've had this shirt for 5 years. We just ordered new shirts and it's taken us 5 years to do so, right? Or a contractor that's got a truck that is reliable, is only what, a week old,
Yeah.
if that, and the
Yep.
resource to say, Mike, I'm going up to Vermont tomorrow. And my only response is, and what are you going up there for? Oh, because I got a contractor up there that's having some problems with polymeric sand or having a problem with this and that. My next question is going to be, why are you even asking? How come your ass ain't on the road already?
Yep.
I mean, we have a budget for marketing and we have a budget for this and we have a budget for that. And we have these types of budgets. Budget season starts this month for us, which is pure hell for me, but I kind of enjoy it. What we have an unlimited budget for is support and education.
Yep.
Customers having a problem, go, right? So, what do you think is the biggest opportunity for contractors using Trident right now? What's the biggest opportunity for contractors? That's a tough question.
It is. I mean,
It's kind of multifaceted.
what's the biggest opportunity for them? I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, but like
Hey, this is
I
the
see,
edge. This is the
right.
edge podcast. Doesn't mean we're gonna go around and start doing some crazy. I mean, we ain't Joe Rogan, right? Never will
Right,
be.
right.
We're not that kind of edge, but sometimes we
I,
gotta speak from the heart.
you know, a lot of contractors, and I'm going to say a lot of them, they sit there and they bitch and complain of, I need to make more money. I need to do this. I need to do that. And when you put the tools in front of them and you show them how to use those tools, they leave them sitting on the workbench. We're not going to do the work for you, but we'll show you the route. You as the business owner have to take responsibility for your business. And if I'm being given tools from, say, Mike and them on how to be a more successful rep and trainer, I'm going to take all those tools. I'm going to keep them in my tool belt so I can pull them out as I need them. Um, the greatest thing about our products is you got to start learning to think outside the box because we have so much that you can extend your season, like break wall. Perfect example. Might not be able to seal with Cat 5 because leaves are falling and all this stuff would create an issue. But guess what? You can seal right now. You can extend your season maybe a month or two in by educating the customers with break wall. Protects against salt. Leaves aren't going to stick to it. You can seal down to what, 32 degrees, isn't it, Mike? With that stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so you can extend your season. You can make more money. We just have so much to offer. There's just so much that can benefit a contractor if they just utilize what we give them.
Yeah. I, you could not hit that nail square on the head harder. I mean, let's look at T3 University. I'll just give you some simple stats. Simple
Yep.
stats. We've got 4,900 people that raised their hand, said, I want to know more about your products. I want to know more about your process. I want to learn how to do this. And out of those, probably close to 50 to 60% of them have indicated that they're new, they've never sealed before. 25% of them probably fall into the I'm using another sealer. I mean, why would they fill out the information if they're happy with what they've got, right? To learn
Right.
more, or they're trying to expand their knowledge. Cool, because they're not getting
Yeah.
that from somewhere else. Then the other 25% falls into other categories. It could be a barrage of different things, right? But out of that 4,900 people that are inside of T3 University that said, I want to learn more, I want to know more, 50%, just over 50%, right around 51%, have never even logged in. Have never even logged in. They said, I want
Yeah.
to know more. I want to know more about this. But more than 50% of them have never even logged in. So to your
Yep.
fact that here's a tool that requires an hour and a half to determine whether or not this makes sense to it, right? So I have a contractor that calls me up and says, oh, I tried your product and it sucks. I'll go in, give me your email address, I'll pull it up. I can look at every single video that they watched, and I showed it to you when we were up there. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you watched the first video from the beginning to the end, but the second video, you watched the first 3 seconds, you skipped ahead to the middle section, and then you jumped to the end, and then you watched this one section twice, and then wondered why you could not progress any further because the system is set up that you can't move without watching 30 or 90 to 95% of the video.
Right.
And then they stop. Or you watch the first 7 videos and you didn't watch the other 6 videos and you stopped, right? That tells us a lot about a contractor,
Yep.
about their need and their want and their education. Now, out of that 50% that have even logged in, right? Another 50% of those. So out of 4,900 people, 25% of all the people that have joined into T3 University have completed Intro to Sealing. And that's
Yep.
it. And out of that, when it moves on to doing your 5 jobs, submitting your 5 jobs, going to a live training or a one-on-one, and then watching the 2.5 hours of education on how to run your business, how to build a successful roadmap to 1 million by Brandon Vaughn, right? That whole thing is recorded in there. It's an hour-long video that's inside there that Brandon was graciously able to do for us and give to us, right? Phenomenal information. How to deal with difficult customers, how to do all these kinds of things. How to, understanding seasonality, pricing, running, working with contractors, again, dealing with difficult customers, those kinds of things. Those are knowledge based information to help your business turn better. Only 135 people out of 4,900 in 3 years combined have completed the master certification course.
Yeah. It boggles my mind.
So you know, then they have the ability to go to the Build and Bond event down in Florida. And you want to talk about an event that's bad, that's awesome. I shouldn't say
Yeah. I'm
bad.
excited.
It's awesome. Is the Build and Bond event down in Florida, right? So it's 3 days of just master certified contractors getting together, creating relationships, building on their education and bonding together, creating networking. And it was we did it last year just for the Florida because we wanted to see how it was going to work out. This year it's open to all master certified contractors, right?
Yep.
And so to your
Yep.
point, you can give them all they want,
Yep. They don't do it.
but take that horse to water,
Right.
shove that
Right.
horse's face in the in the water, and make them drink, right?
Yep. Yep. Nope.
So, you know, if I'm a contractor and I'm switching to Trident, I'm currently using something else, but I'm switching to Trident. Why should a contractor feel confident with working with Keith Ayotte as your rep? But why should they feel confident in working with you?
One of the biggest things I think is because I'm not just a rep. I think as myself as a partner with you. Um, I've been in their shoes. I understand what's at stake on pretty much all of their jobs. And I won't just drop off a bucket of sealer at the end of the day. Oh, I lie. I did that yesterday, but they wanted that sealer. Um, I won't just drop off a bucket, a sealer and wish you luck. I mean, if you say, "Hey, look I need help. I need to understand." I, I'm here. That's what my job is to do. Like Mike said, there's not very many handcuffs put on us, as far as when it comes to the contractor. Um, so we're there. Show me another company that's like that, please. Because as far as my knowledge in 20 years, I haven't seen one. So,
Now, I'm not
uh,
taking away that there are other manufacturers out there that do
no,
offer
they do
good
support,
support and they
but
do these
they,
things like that, but
but I
it's to a
haven't
different
seen,
level.
right. They just don't have you know, one of the contractors that I was dealing with years ago, when I had a problem, they would ship me a bucket of sealer.
One of the reps, the
Yeah,
reps,
yeah,
not
yeah. The
the
reps would
contract.
send,
Yeah, the
yeah,
rep.
would send me, a bucket of sealer and say, "Well, here you go." Like, what kind of education is that? What kind of help is that? That's not doing me, the contractor, anything good, except for saying, "Here, go screw up some more." you
Right.
know,
There's a difference between true help and hush money.
right, right. If you're a contractor that all you want is free product when you have a screw up, Trident's not your company because we
You know how much free product that we've given away this year?
probably zero.
Three tails.
Free, yeah.
Three tails.
You know,
That's it.
we yeah, but because we want to understand the problem, fix the problem, and educate that contractor on that problem, so going forward we don't have that issue. We don't, like I said, to the amount of what we have, I have never in 20 years seen this.
Right.
Trident is very supportive, and I can't say more about it. But anyway, that's why I think, a contractor should feel confident switching to Trident, is because we're here for you.
Right.
And we're always here for you.
Well, and
And the
go ahead.
product is what it says it is. It's great. It's superior, I feel, in my own opinion. Um, Again, drinking the Kool-Aid,
Sure.
it's far more superior.
Does it do everything that you want it to do every single time? Like, do you want it, if you want a super high gloss, high sheen and stuff like that, may or may not do that, right? But there's one thing when we built the Cat 5, when we developed the chemistry for Cat 5, we took all the sealers that were on the market, the two-part urethanes, the one parts, all the different ones, and we created a chart and graded each one of those based on chemistry, not on personal feelings, but based on chemistry, history of the chemistry. And we had a piece of paper that looked basically like a sheet of plywood. Imagine, 4 foot by 6 foot kind of tall piece of plywood that was there. And it had all the sealers down one side and it had all the attributes across the top of it. And a lot of them were graded, great, you know, uh, you know, as far as joint stabilization, color enhancement, all those, whatever the attribute was for that type of sealer that was there. The one thing that stuck out consistently, because we would grade it with colors, right? It took us about a month and a half of all the research to be able to determine what that was. And we would go through and we would grade those. And then we found a common theme. The common theme was number one, forgivability. The ability to not dry too quick, not dry too slow. If you got caught up in a rainstorm, what can you do? If you got a little bit of it on top of something, is it avoidable? Those kinds of things. Forgivability, because we know that problems are going to happen, right? Issues are going to pop up. We live in Florida. All of a sudden, you're sitting here and it's beautiful outside. Rain cloud pops up. Bang. Same thing happens with you guys. You got different
Yep.
weather spells that come in at different times and they can just pop up on top of you. But the number one thing that came across was support, education, and training. Real training, real
Right.
stuff, right? Now at the beginning, we had to build these tools. I didn't just start off in a shop and buy a shop and that had a lift in it that had air compressors and auto shop and had all those pieces that were in there. We had nothing. Zero. And we've built all these tools based on what the needs of the contractors are along the way. And now I remember when my boss, John, said one day you're going to wake up and you're going to have a tool belt that's sitting all the way around you with
Well,
all these tools that you're not going to even be able to carry. You're going to need a backpack. It's going to be kind of weird at the beginning, but at the end, you're going to have all these tools. So these
yep.
contractors that are joining in with us now have far more resources than the OGs that started with us at the beginning. And I'm gonna,
Yep.
I got Rob Harris, I got Chris Onika, I've got, multiple people that have been with us since day one. Garfield, a lot of these guys that have been with us from day one and have grown with us all the way from the beginning to this point. So it's exciting to see where we're at now and what a great time for contractors that are saying, I'm not getting what I want, I'm not getting what I need, to be able to join into something that has a plethora of resources available to them.
Yeah. And it's not just the contractors. I mean, Trident offers us reps, like again, stuff that you don't see, contractors don't see on our end, like the incredible resources that we have that we can lean on to help them. There's a lot of work put into it.
Yeah. Well, things are progressing. There's new sealers popping up. There's always going to be. Every
Yeah.
year, oh, we hired a chemist. Oh, we can do it cheaper. We can sell you a product that's cheaper. If I've heard it once, I can save $10 by buying this other sealer.
Right.
Just like a customer when they come to you and say, I can get my house washed for $100 cheaper than you. And I always ask my contractors, what's your response? When a customer comes to you and says, I can get it done cheaper, what's your response? 9 times out of 10 is, well, when they mess up, I'll be here to fix it, right? When they have issues, we'll be here to fix it, but it's going to cost you, right? When they kill all your plants or when something happens, you're going to wish that you
Yeah.
spent just a little bit more. So
Right.
what makes it different? What makes it different, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It may be a little, it may seem like it's more, but let's be honest. Why did Trident put out a 5 gallon, 2 gallon mix ratio? And I'll explain it because I'm not going to throw you on the train, right?
I felt those bus wheels coming.
You heard the it's coming back, or I
Yeah.
mean when you looked at all the other sealers, what's the configuration? 4-1. 4 gallons part A, 1 gallon part B. Why did Trident come out with a 5-1, 5-2 configuration? Why is it a 7 gallon kit? The reason being is that it's not complex, but we want the contractors that can get it. And those that get it, I mean, I was just in a dealership yesterday. It was over in Jacksonville, excuse me. And they said, we have this sealer that's here. I'm not going into names. I'm not trying to do all this. We have this sealer here. Those customers switched over to this other sealer. That's who they switched to. But you know what they told me? We haven't had one Trident customer in our store that's been a Trident customer switch over to another sealer. And that's why they keep bringing in the product. We're not looking for everyone. I was told
Exactly.
by another sales rep when I joined into this business, Mike, you might be able to sell $10 million worth of product. Mike Kilgore can go out there and sell $10 million worth of product. But Trident is only going to allow you to sell 3. That's scary as a salesperson because you want to sell $10 million worth of product.
Yeah.
But the reason
Yeah.
is because we want to sell the product to the right people. I can't keep it out of everybody's hands. Oh, people rolling their eyes. Oh, well, I know this guy and he does really crappy work. Blah, 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 blah. I also know a person that smoked 4 packs of cigarettes a day and lived to 150 years old or 110 years old. But I also know
Right.
another million of them that didn't. So let's not
Yeah.
live our lives in the exception. Let's live our lives in the rule. And the rule is that if you get the Trident system and you understand it, you set yourself differently than the other contractors in the area, right? So there's going to be a lot of, oh, I hired a chemist and we made this new sealer and I've been testing it for months and I've talked to these people and I've talked to those people and we've made a new sealer that is the best thing since sliced bread. If I've seen them come, I've seen them go. Trident is not a Hail Mary company. We're not.
No.
And that frustrates a lot of people. We're going to come out with the newest, greatest thing in the entire world, right? That's not who we are. I had a chance to sit down and have dinner with our owner, Brad, and he said something that stuck with me, and I'm going to put it inside of this podcast, inside of this video, so it's important. We are not a Hail Mary company, but using football analogies. We are a block and tackle company. We will block and we will tackle. You have a problem, we stop it, we tackle. We will win the war, we will win the battle, and we're not looking to be the number one sealing company. I know that's scary. That's scary for people to hear. Oh, you don't want to be the number one? No, not interested. Not interested in being number one. If number one means that I got to deal with a ton of problems and a bunch of issues and a bunch of stuff like that, you can have first place. You can get the ribbon. I'll take a participation trophy any day of the week. Right? We will win the football game old school, ground, pound, 3 yards at a time. Every single play, 3 yards at a time. We will do it correctly. We may not always get it right, but our mantra is correctly. Treat the business as if other contractors would treat their business. Value the contractors. but block and tackle. So if you're expecting Trident to come in with the newest, greatest thing in the entire world that's going to be the amazing, it may be different. It may be a little bit different slide to it, but there's a reason behind it. So, where do you see the sealing industry heading over the next few years? How what you've seen over the past, now that you've had a chance to be from the outside on the inside and attending the meetings, seeing the numbers, seeing what's underneath the sheets, right? How do you see that
Yeah.
Trident is positioned for, the next couple of years? How do you see it differently than what you saw it before?
Well, I can't speak for the southern area, but up here in New England, I see a great opportunity for Trident. You know, um, I've always, as a Northeast person, I've always felt like as the wicked stepchild because nothing ever happens up here. We don't ever get trainings. We don't, we're always forced to fly here or there as a New England um, company. And I really see that the education, the training, the routes that you and I have spoke about, um, really influencing a lot of contractors to come forward and utilizing us because at the end of the day, Trident, people look at Trident just as a sealing company, but guys, we have so many tools available to you, especially up here in New England. We're not Florida, and Florida is not us. We have a lot of ground movement. We have a lot of um, problems with our systems that Florida, New Jersey, Georgia may not deal with. Um,
They have
systems.
different problems. They have
Yeah,
different issues.
we have different issues, and
Right. And and
you know,
and those areas have different issues for you
right,
than you.
exactly. But we have the tools to stop it.
Right.
And again, going back, there, not a lot of there's a couple, there's quite a few companies that teach it, but we have the tools. Do it properly. Reach out to me. I'll look at you. You want more money at the end of the day in your company? Then look at the whole system, not just a clean and sand and seal.
Right.
Maybe we need to put edgecrete and lift some pavers and fix them. Maybe it's simple as putting down snap edge to fix a moving issue or whatever. Um, these are all things that we'll be moving to here in
Mhm.
New England. So I think there's a lot to look forward to with Trident.
And Keith has been, you know, innovative in the concept of saying, let's look more than just beyond the cleaning, sanding, and sealing. You know, there's so many options, right? Keith's running an event that I'm going to be building the registration for today inside of the T3 University. That's up in his area, and it's going to cover polymeric sand. It's going to cover hydro sweep, which is a sand that looks almost like moon sand, and it's wet sanded into it, but it's basically the ability to wet sand polymeric sand, if you want to put it in general, simple terms.
Yeah.
Different processes. And it's a 2 day, and also cleaning and sealing. So it's a 2 day event if you wanted to attend everything.
Yeah.
Um, it's all on the same property, and people
Well,
from
no,
all
that
over.
that
What?
that changed a little bit.
Okay. So it's changed a little bit, but it's all in the same area. Can we
Yes.
go with that?
Yeah.
In the same
Yes.
area, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So technically, with an investment, and there's going to be people that are going to be traveling in from all over the country to be able to learn from this, not just in his region, but there's going to be people from Florida that are going up in that area I've already talked to. There's people that, are going to make that investment into their business to learn, different options. And
Yeah.
he's going to be putting that all together. That's coming up, and we're going to be blasting it all over the place, so that you all know about it. But it will be on T3 University, hopefully by the end of the day today or tomorrow. It just takes a little bit of time to organize all that information. But if you really want to learn about different aspects, then you know this is a good opportunity, and for you to be able to join in on that. So I'm going to ask two more questions and we're going to be done. Right? I don't want to bore these people half to death.
Right.
Hear me babble on and stuff like that. But I'm gonna ask two more questions, and what everybody has goals.
Yep.
Now, I want to provide. When somebody tells me I want to provide, right?
Hmm.
And I want to put food on my table, right? That's not thriving, that's surviving. Typically, when
Right.
people tell me all the time, I'm just trying to put food on my table. That's why I'm charging, $1 a square foot in a $3 market or a $2 market, right? When I hear people using that, that is an emotional hook strategy of defense.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put money on the table. But yet, when I look at their Facebook page of them just trying to put food on the table, and you imagine what it's like being in the famine, and you have a loaf of bread and a potato and maybe some dark water from the well, right? I'm struggling with that. I'm just trying to put food on my table. But yet, when I look at their Facebook page, they bought a brand new F950, truck and
Right.
all these other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's not putting food on the table. That's called an emotional hook strategy that's there. I don't
Yep.
want people just to put food on their table. I want people to invite people over for Thanksgiving and put food on their table for everyone. I want them to
Yep.
thrive. And that's what I want. So, what is your personal goal for contractors that you work with?
My personal goal is pretty much the same thing. I want the contractors to grow their business, and I want to help them. Like I'm a partner of that. I want to improve their craftsmanship because to me, calling yourself a restoration expert and you're missing the biggest part of it, you're not. You're just a cleaning and stealing company. Don't call yourself a restoration expert. So helping them understand when they're looking at a system, and you know this will help provide, some of this work you get good money for, and it only takes an extra few minutes to do it. So they can, like you said, have the life that they want. Go on vacations with their family. Have a big Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner at home. Maybe pay off the equipment that they bought or upgrade. So my goal is, pretty much just I want to work, educate, and show these guys what they're leaving on the table, and they don't really have to do much more work than what they're already doing.
Yeah,
So, I think that
I love it.
that's
So,
a great thing for them.
the final question I've got, real simple, easy, simple to the point. How do contractors reach you? How do they get a hold of you? And when can they get a hold of you?
You call Mike. You call Mike and you
Yeah.
tell him to call me. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. My number is 1-800-954-4293, right? I need more
Right.
phone calls is what I need. Yeah.
Listen, Not every rep in our company is like me. So, and I'm going to put this out there from me. Only me, unless somebody else says it's for them. Because I've walked in the customer's shoes, I understand that during the day when you're grinding and you're dealing with a huge headache, sometimes you can't call. Shoot me a text at night. I might surprise you and be up at 11, 10, 9. you know,
Right.
I'll call you. Well, I'll talk to you. Um, if I don't pick up my phone within a couple of minutes, you'll get a text. I'll call you right back. Email, text, call, it doesn't matter. I'll always be there. You'll get a phone call back pretty quick,
Right.
but most of the time I'm there. But you can reach me. The phone number for me is 630-549-4042.
Yep.
Um, I know I posted the number a couple of times wrong on Facebook, but that's the right number.
That's the correct number. Well,
Yeah.
it's been exciting. It's been fun. I've kind of enjoyed this. I don't want to bore people, but I think that those people that watch this all
Yeah.
the way from the beginning to the end, um, are going to get a little bit better insight of who you are, what Trident is all about, and how passionate we are about what we do. And
Yeah.
there are some cool things that we're working on that are going to be great. And some products and processes and things. We're always trying to listen to it. I know that contractors want, oh, I want this and I want it now. It doesn't work that way. You don't build a
Nope.
legacy of great things. If there's one thing that our company is big on is sometimes over engineering the products, but the one thing that I give my utmost devotion to and my tip my hat to is that our owner wants to make sure that the products that we use, the processes that we teach, the education that we give, those things are are not revolved around inferior products that don't work. So then now it's up to
Right.
us to utilize those tools, utilize the education, utilize those things and keep educating our reps. I don't know it all. Hell, I'm learning new stuff. I learned some stuff yesterday I never knew. I constantly am learning about this business. I'm constantly learning about, how to work with other people. I listen to probably more podcasts and more things every single night. When I go to bed, headphones in, eyes shut, 30 minutes every single night. I'm listening to something that can help grow, help make me better as a person, as a father, as a husband, those kinds of things. I'm not sitting up here pounding my chest saying I'm the best. Look, I got plenty of flaws, plenty of flaws.
Both
We
of
can go
us.
down a
Yep.
laundry list of flaws and failures. And I'll be the first one to
hmm
be straight up and tell you, I'm not going to go in and say this life has been easy. It's been difficult and it still is difficult. But, more importantly, as I will try to end this up is Trident is got a phenomenal team. We have built some of the baddest people on the planet of what we
Yep.
do and who we are. I truly believe that. It's been some transition. We've had a couple of, in and outs and, people here and there that didn't quite, make it and do different things. But I can tell you, 2026, this thing is being recorded here, August the 30th. I'm sorry, September 30th, not August, September 30th, right before going into what we call Super Season 1 down in the South. It is still a super season up in the north. It's going to be shorter, but we are building this as a team that I would have never imagined. And going into budgeting and planning for 2026, there's there's so much excitement and and hope, but don't get it twisted. It's not about us. It's not about Trident. It's not about Mike wearing, you know, a Trident shirt and pajama pants underneath the screen, which I am. Um, it's about we would be nowhere without you, the contractor.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Putting your trust in us. Are we always going to get it right? No, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. Or we're going to say if and though and thou and say something that may, everyone's always looking for the reason why not to do so instead of looking at the full picture of why should they. We'd
Yep.
love to have you on Team Trident. We'd love you to use our products. We'd love to support you, educate you. But if you choose not to, that's fine too. Again, Mike Kilgore could sell $10 million worth of product this year, could sell $20 million worth of product this year. But we're only going to allow him to sell 3 million because we're going to do it correctly. We're going to do it right. We're at least going to try to do it right.
Yep.
So, whew, that was fun.
Yeah,
That was
it
fun,
was.
right? I think we
Yep.
got to know a lot about you. Got to know about Trident, and I get long-winded, but that's why they put this really funny mic in front of my face because I love to talk. I love to hear myself speak so much that I put headphones on.
Yeah, no headphones for me.
No headphones for you. So, yeah, well, that's it today for the episode with Keith, with the Trident Edge. And, if you're in his territory, if you're in his zone, which is Long Island, as of now, right now, it's
Yep.
Long Island. What is that? Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Did I miss anything
Yep.
in there?
Nope.
Connecticut.
Go
No,
Connecticut. Yeah, you'd miss. No, you
Connecticut.
didn't. You got Connecticut. I
Did I
think.
get Connecticut? Yeah,
I think
Connecticut.
so.
Yeah. If we didn't, sorry about you, Connecticut. We remember we remembered there. But all those areas. If you're in that area and you're looking for somebody that has the history, that has the passion, that has the fire, right? That holds the trident up tall.
Yep.
Don't hesitate to reach out to Keith. And more importantly, we want to thank you. I'm going to actually put this video on Facebook into the Trident contractors, into the main group, which is the Trident Protects Contractors Only group, and also into Keith's group there, which is the Trident Protects Northeast Contractors Only. We divided up the groups to have regional groups, so that
Yep.
regional people are talking about regional things. You
Right.
don't have the guy that's down in Florida that goes, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," or you don't have the guy that's up in North saying, "I won't do anything but polymeric sand," and then all the bickering back and forth. And I won't move my truck for less than $3.90 a square foot. And there's a lot of regional differences, so that's why we have the different groups. So if you haven't joined in and you're in that Northeast area, go to Facebook, go to the groups, look for Trident Protects Northeast Contractors Only. Join into that group. Reach out to Keith. We'll have the phone number in the description and everything else like that. Email him, text him, phone call him. Get out there and put a
Do it
smoke
all.
thing. Put a
Yep.
smoke thing, and I don't know if he understands Morse code or not, but flames, whatever it is, reach out. We
Yeah.
can't help you if we don't know you got a problem.
Exactly. Yep. And I'm here, so call me.
So, and if you're listening to this through the Trident Edge podcast, make sure you subscribe, so that you don't miss the next episode. I plan on doing this with all of the reps. I wasn't going to do it, but then there was just something when I was doing my morning walk with my dog saying we really need to get people to understand a little bit more about each of the reps in each of the areas. So I'll be doing it with all the reps, Danielle, Brad, all the reps. So
Good.
I'm going to conclude with this. Thank you guys. girls, everyone for supporting Trident for the past almost 7 years. And we appreciate your loyalty. We appreciate your trust. And more importantly, we thank you for your business. So, everybody, have a great day. And I'm going to stop this now. And more importantly, out of everything, stay Trident strong.